play any fun, interesting, notable gigs that are worth reporting here?
Yeah, I did play a one for the books.
Okay.
We were playing, this is my band, System 9, and this was the six-piece band. And we were playing at this, in a very large kind of auditorium for a retirement community, which you can tell by the hair, is increasingly our crowd.
Sure.
And it'd been quite a while since we'd been in such a big room. And so our guitar player loves being in a big room because they like that big room tone. And I don't know if guitar players you play with do this or not, but the volume started to creep up because, as you know, the louder you play, the better the tone.
What? A guitar player turned up?
I know. It is
I've never
shocking.
heard of such a thing.
It is shocking. Yeah, no, I know. It turns out that the drummer had been trying to communicate to the guitar player that the volume where he was sitting was getting a little too loud because the guitar player had an open back cabinet, a Mesa Boogie. After a while, the drummer got frustrated with this and so needed to communicate to the guitar player that things were a little too loud. And as the guitar player's in front of him and isn't checking, behind him because he's engaging with the audience.
Yes.
The drummer figured the best way to communicate his displeasure was to hurl a drumstick at the back of the guitar player just to get his attention.
Yes.
So he claims. This did not go over well.
What? I mean, as a drummer, I can't imagine a more efficient way of communicating, hey, buddy, I have something I'd like to discuss with you when you have a minute.
And when the guitar player turned, he made the gesture of down, 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 which is a universal gesture for, oh, come on, turn it down.
Turn it down.
And did not turn it down. We were playing something, and the drummer thought, I'll give you a little taste of what this is like.
Uh-oh.
And so the drummer beats the hell out of the drums, really loud. And I have no idea what's going on until that happens.
Right.
And I turn around going,
I see. Okay.
What is going on here? And he's like pointing at the guitar player. The guitar player's going, "Arr." And we're still playing, while this interaction
Yes, of course. Yes. This reminds me of like the Eagles, devolving on stage in front of a crowd in the 70s. Yeah, the first time they devolved. Yeah.
Well, generally we get along great, but this was like sort of out of nowhere kerfuffle. At this point, the trumpet player clutches his ear and runs off stage.
Oh, wow.
And I'm looking around like, okay, let's finish this song. And I don't care what time it is. It's time for a break.
It's break time.
It's break time. What is going on here? But where's the trumpet player in all this? He's in his car. He's clutching his ear. And he says, my ear hurts like it's never hurt before. And I have terrible vertigo. I think my eardrum burst.
Whoa.
And he couldn't play the rest of the gig because he couldn't put any back pressure on it,
right?
It
oh my gosh! Oh yeah, right.
Went home. Somebody drove him home because he couldn't drive because of the vertigo. Whoa. And he saw a doctor, and sure enough, his eardrum had ruptured. And you can imagine the politics of this within the group now, because of course the drummer horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, just horrible. And so when you're trying to, maneuver through this politically, it's like, well, it was too loud. But the reaction to it by throwing a drumstick was a bad idea. And then not turning it down and then beating the drum so hard that you burst somebody's eardrum. This
was an escalation of terrible proportions.
Terrible proportions. And I thought, I think we're old enough now that this kind of thing shouldn't happen. So eventually it all got worked out. Everybody talked to everybody else, and lots of apologies went around, and we we sort of developed a way like there's got to be some way for us to communicate that it's too loud without somebody getting annoyed.
Yeah.
And we're big boys now, and I think we can manage that. But it was just one of those completely out of the blue, very strange things, because it turns out that he didn't know that one eardrum was quite delicate and thin.
Yeah,
and
right.
So this wouldn't happen to anybody else.
I was going to say, like, all of the things you said and the judgments that you sort of collectively as a band have come up with about this not being the right way to go and do this, and certainly not the most professional way on a gig, are correct. But, even flams on a snare drum, like maybe you're going to hit 130 dB, and that's only a couple of feet from the drum. Like it's going to be over 100 dB 5 feet away.
Right.
But, and that's bad and all of those things. But for most people, in fact, for the vast majority of humans, that's not going to tear an eardrum because it's a transient sound, right? It's not sustained. You're hitting it and it's loud and then it stops. And then it's loud and then it stops. It's not sustained pressure on the eardrum. Again, not that it's good, but it is rare that this would happen.
Yeah, and the thing about it, I dearly love this trumpet player, but he is a delicate soul.
Yeah.
And he can sneeze and dislodge a rib. I mean, he's just that.
He's that guy.
He's that guy.
Yep.
Right. So if it's going to happen to anybody in the band, it will certainly be him. And anybody pretty much in the entire county, it's going to be that guy. So, we had to do a lot of healing over this.